Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to Sweet Home. We're now on to episode 7 of season 2. So in the last episode, we followed Eunyu and the soldier following Yi Kyung because, of course, Eunyu had questions for her. She hasn't seen her since they left the apartment building, and of course, she saw that Yi Kyung and the girl that she's been enthralled with were connected, and she had questions for the girl, of course, because we saw at the end of episode 5 that the girl was basically trying to get Eunyu to come with her, saying that she knew who her brother was. And so, well, actually, no, she didn't say she knew who her brother was. She just basically knew her name. And she said that she could take her to someone that she was looking for. So, of course, we know that Eunyu's been very desperate to find her brother, and she was going to follow her. And, of course, with Yi Kyung intercepting, that didn't happen. So she set out to go after them, and the soldier followed Eunyu because he feels a sense of responsibility, but also because I think it's pretty clear that he's got feelings for Eunyu, which are unrequited at the moment. But anyways, during their little travels, because Eunyu's just being very reckless right now, she's really not thinking smart because she's very desperate. She ends up falling into a trap and she almost dies. And it was the soldier who ends up saving her life, but he gets injured in the process because the man that we met a few episodes back who has the rifle, he ended up pushing him into the pit. And again, I don't know if it's just because he didn't know who they were or if it was because he wasn't sure if they were monsters. I can't be sure. But either way, the next day, he eventually does throw them a rope and let them come out. But he basically tells them, look, I don't want anything to do with you guys. Just go. I don't want to go to the stadium. Just get away and let me reset my trap. And the girl that's been traveling with the old man, she has taken quite the liking to the soldier. She wants to keep him, as it were. But of course, he just wants to follow Eunyu. Eunyu doesn't want to keep him there. But the thing is, Eunyu didn't want to be followed in the first place. She wants him to stay because he is injured and she doesn't have to worry about him possibly slowing her down. And I also, as much as she's not showing it, I do think she feels a little bit of an obligation towards him now because he did save her life. But anyways, so that's what happens. And Eunyu ends up eventually leaving in the middle of the night because the girl ends up letting them out because like they get trapped, but then the girl comes and unlocks the door and tells Eunyu she can leave because she wants to have the soldier for herself. So Eunyu takes the opportunity and takes off to go looking for Yi Kyung. So when the soldier wakes up, he realizes that Eunyu is gone and he's pretty upset about it, but he has no idea where she could have gone at this point. So he planned on going back to the stadium, but we see that the girl looks like drugging him to keep him there, which, as I said, I am a little upset at Eunyu for leaving him with strangers who she has no idea whether or not they're friend or foe. Ready to jump in. Just before I do, just a reminder, I do a lot of reactions here on this channel to all sorts of good stuff. So if you'd like to support me and my goal of getting to 20K in the new year, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button as well as a notification bell. And if you like this video, please show it some love with some likes and some comments below. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right about now. You also saw last episode that she tried to, or thought about stabbing the baby, which again wouldn't have taken her out anyway, but clearly she couldn't do that. Understandable. You had to process a lot in less than 24 hours. From being a few weeks pregnant to, oh, Hyunsu came out that quick? So did he save them? I thought it was the baby. Wow. Okay, yeah, I can't understand why your daughter's like this now. And I don't blame Yi Kyung because, huh? Right? Like that's a lot to process. So was it Hyunsu who took care of her then? Not easy to do. Not when it's your actual child. Which she is. Still half of you in there. Aw, Hyunsu did take care of her. No. He found you clean shoes. That's a very good question. Why are any of the baby monsters the way they are? I mean, That's what I keep wondering, right? I said this back in episode 2 when we saw the other baby monster. Like, the kids are too young to have desires that should be manifesting to this level. So is it the parent that passed it into their kids? Like, there's so many questions. She don't know you.
내가 너무 늦었지.
A little bit. But better late than never.
인사해. 엄마야.
She's like, I don't know. She kind of tried to stab me.
그저 평범해 보이는 아이를 보면서
Really? You saw how she started. But see, yeah, the fact that you came back and accepted her because you saw her looking human is part of the problem. So she was growing, I think, unnaturally fast. You see how many lines are already there? Yeah. 1 month. And I think that's when you figured out that you should have figured out from that point that that she wasn't normal. She's not touching her hands. She grabbed her wrist. I'm curious as to when she first showed what she could do. Because I still don't know whether or not she can never control it, or if it's just if she's caught off guard that it happens.
생각했는데
Until that happened. Where was Hyun-soo when this was happening?
몸부림치더니까
Yeah, okay, so it looks like she'd never done it until then. This is such a tough one because she was definitely defending herself here. Like, it wasn't like she did this out of maliciousness.
내 아이는 괴물이었어.
Partially. Also, no way that nightie would have fit her from when she was a kid to that size. What is she doing? Yeah. Truthfully, warranted. So that's what happened to her eye.
무슨 일이에요?
Exactly. What is happening? So she wanted the
왜
scar?
이렇게까지예요?
엄마니까
Are you?
난 내 아이를 알아봐야 돼.
Oh, okay. I mean, that was a bit... You could have made a much smaller incision and maybe told her what you were doing.
이 세상으로부터 널 지키는 건지
Protect the world from you.
너한테서 세상을 지키는 건지
You need to figure that out. This is why she's getting the way she is, Mom.
같이 있으려는 것뿐이야.
Are you?
알겠지?
This is not an easy situation because I understand where Yikyung's coming from, but this is still... She's not treating her like she has a human side. So if you do that, then of course she's going to succumb to her monster. And again, the only person who showed her kindness was Hyun-soo, who was a monster. Yeah. I'm sorry, sweetie. Unfortunately, you're right at this point. Okay, so she touched her when she pushed her with her hands. And I don't think she did anything to her. So she can't control it. So he can fly with it now. That's a new development. He couldn't fly with it before. He used to kind of just flap around. Do I know you?
진짜 그냥 이렇게 갈 거야.
Yes.
그럼 반갑게 인사라도 해줄까?
이렇게 만났으면 적어도 잘 지냈냐고는 물어봐야지.
We weren't friends, bro.
난 반갑.
이딴 걸로 사람 헷갈리게 해놓고
Lead you on.
대체 왜 도망가려고 하는 건데?
You believed what you wanted to believe.
말씀해봐.
He said, don't try me. I've had quite the time. Oh, it's acid. I forgot about that. You should know, though, Hyun-soo, that Eunyu could look crazy right now. She will probably risk it. But she also knows if you really wanted to hurt her, you would have just let her fall.
괴물도 사람도 아닌 새끼야. 이거 왜 왔어?
Dude, I was just minding my business. She's the one who came wandering where she wasn't supposed to. Interesting. He said half monster, though, so he knows. All right. Well, I'm actually happier that at least it's Hyun-soo with her and not the changeling.
쫓아다니는 게 없어가지고 괴물 새끼를 쫓아다니고 있어.
She clearly doesn't feel like she has anything else to live for. And what's really rude about all that is that her brother sacrificed everything for her life and she's taking it for granted.
괜히 저것들 들쑤셔가지고 남의 저 앞마당까지 불러들일 거면 그냥 니도 끄지라.
Yeah, think about that. Once again, it's one thing if it's just you. But little sis there knows where you're all now, where you guys are now, and you're gonna bring danger to them. So come on, I need you and you to stop being so crazy.
쟤 지켜주려고. 이젠 오빠 못 믿어.
Teenagers.
사람들이 궁금했어. 엄마하고 같아서 날 아프게 해. 소리치고 밀치고.
Yeah.
내 친구. 그래서 나를 혼자 남게 해.
Unfortunately, she's spitting bars right now.
오빠도 느껴봐. 그럼 내가 얼마나 아팠는지 알겠지?
Oh, sweetie, you've been literally alive for a year. You don't know nothing about pain yet. Yeah, if she meets up with the changeling at this point, it's going to be really bad, guys. I feel like we're going to have to take her out. I don't think there's going to be an alternative.
불타고 있거든.
This is a very messy and complicated situation, guys. I see all sides. I understand all the sides. I feel bad, but I like Ik-young, she messed up, but I understand why she messed up. I can't imagine being in that position. Was she too harsh? 1,000%. But did she have any time to process her emotions? Pretty much no. I mean, she is very dangerous because of what she can do, but she's not invincible. But she's too young to know that. I don't know what to say. Like, I feel for her. I do. But at the same time, if this is the way she's going to be, she's got to go. Why would you, ma'am, why would you climb back onto a burning boat? And there is still the outstanding question of whether or not her fiance is actually dead. We don't know that. Oh, she just gave up. Oh, wow. Most of them are burned by fire. Oh, and the baby monster's saving you. And you were so... No! And you were so mean to it. But she knows what it is to lose a mom, that little baby, so... That's probably why. But this baby never wanted violence. That's probably why she's not messing with the daughter anymore. You ain't got no monster senses? Smelling nothing? I guess there's a lot of smoke. Never mind. Ah, the symbolism of the pinwheel being burned. You did. By treating her like that? Just because Hyunsu took it with grace doesn't mean everyone would. And also, Hyunsu grew up normally for the first, 18 years of his life. Wow, that's the answer? Oh, okay. Yeah, you didn't really hide it at all. Watch her destroy everything. Oh, that. Yeah, I don't think you could anyway, truthfully. But punishing her because you thought it was your fault doesn't make sense. Exactly. This is what you should have been asking yourself. This is the reconciliation you should have been making. She's like, that one's called me mama too. Damn. But yeah, this is the talk she should have been having a lot earlier than this. She needs to reconcile that being a monster is not the worst thing in the world. And I mean, the terminology itself is obviously not endearing. Neo-human, unfortunately, I gotta agree with the changeling. Maybe we need to change up the labeling. Yeah, you probably killed him, you psycho. That's your fault. Sorry, Eunyu. You left him alone. That's on you, Eunyu. I don't know why you left this man with these people when you didn't know what the hell they were capable of. Listen, if you set the precedence for insubordination, they're all going to start being the same way. It is what it is.
갑자기 마음 바꾸신 이유가 뭡니까?
Oh, you know, turning into a monster, whatever. Don't want to talk about it. Let's go!
니들 보내놓고 나 여기 못 앉아 있는다.
Period.
나도 가자 영호야.
Go together.
어차피 니네 갔다가 잘못되고 용석이 못 돌아오면 나 아무것도 못해.
He's just gonna take it out on the people. Just let him go.
뭘 또 이렇게 무게 잡습니까?
He's like, you two need a moment? Should we start playing some K-drama music? Oh man, and the one guy who's in the middle of his transition is who's left at the base. My God. I'm terrified. Maybe the fact that he doesn't want to hurt these people will keep him from doing anything crazy.
그럼 마셔.
She's... Let her have a drink. Like, if she's not well, let her drink. At the very least.
나 방금 괴물된 줄 알았잖아. 순간 환청 들린 줄 알고.
Yeah, I guess you can't really sneak music up on people like that.
신부님은? 신부님 얘기 좀 해봐.
I don't think you need to know. Because something tells me he's not even really a priest. I have a sneaking suspicion my guy's lying.
한 마리 실력 발휘를 좀 해보겠어. 이리 와봐.
I agree. Like, if you're going to drink the alcohol, don't waste it on being sad. You can do that sober. Anyways, back to the people out risking their lives. What is his problem? What is he faking right now?
지금 바로 배출을 해야 될 것 같아. 얼마 안 걸려. 잠깐만. 야, 종현아. 예. 붙어.
Why does he have to roll? And you're bringing your suitcase to go poop? Okay. I'm just so over this doctor. I really am. I feel like his part has already played out. I don't get why we still have to care about him. I feel like you should leave his ass out there. Who needs to take it? This is what I'm saying. This man's crazy. Because you know what? In our human brains, we usually can't take a crap unless we feel safe. Most people in this situation would never, they would hold it for 6 weeks if they had to. And this man saying, I gotta take a dump in the middle of the nowhere. See what I mean? Multiple monsters that all look the same. This is so interesting. I wonder if they actually did that initially or if that's something that happened afterwards because they spent time with each other. Uh-oh. Do you see the footprints, y'all? Did you see the footprints in the street?
우리 민중사님 생각보다 겁이 많으시네. 어차피 죽은 건데.
그러니까요.
Why would you touch it? What is wrong with you? I'd say to hit her, but there's no point. She's ew.
하다고 뱉거나 삼키지 말고 계속 씌워봐.
Right? Why should you trust anything?
내가 곧 뒤질 새끼한테 못 먹을 거 줬을까 봐.
That's true. That's kind of a waste of food. But honestly, I think Unyu does this, you know, at least owe that girl a kick to the you-know-where. She crazy, but she'll feel it. Can't be messing with people's lives like that just because you can get high off mushrooms. I'd be like, Youngsuki, Yuzuka, we're here. Can you come to the truck? Because I don't want to go looking for you. Because I'm going to be real with you. This is why I couldn't be in the military. This whole leave no man behind. Sorry, I'm gone. You want to wander? You on your own. He's taking the suitcase. Sir, who's going to steal it from you?
김중사님 싸움 잘하지. 괴물도 잘 죽이고. 그래야 될 거야. 나도 뭐가 있는지 잘 몰라서 말이야. 갑시다.
No, you go first. Since we're here for you, I'm so over him. Talking about he's the hope for humanity. Please. If that's all there is, then y'all better just turn to monsters.
김영수.
나요. 아줌마가 뭔데 날 혼내요? 진짜 엄마도 아니잖아.
Okay. He's got a lot to be angry about, respectfully. The hell? So she's got someone. I was wondering last episode if she's keeping a monster. Do you think her husband's still alive and she's keeping him? Or maybe not. But the picture she was looking at last episode, I don't know. Because her husband was definitely turning into a monster based on that flashbacks we saw.
엄마 좀 도와줘. 너밖에 믿을 사람.
Oh, not even an apology. Just, I need you. Let's go. Uh-oh. Yeah, there's a monster right nearby, and half your team's gone.
아무래도 스타디움 안에 괴물이 있는 것 같습니다. 스타디움 안에 괴물이 있는 것 같습니다.
Yep. So why did the mother ask her daughter for? I feel like she's hiding a monster in there. Like maybe she still has her husband in there. But why would he suddenly, unless he broke out of whatever they were containing him with? I don't know.
아유, 콩알 많은 게 벌써 까져가지고. 콩알 많은 게 벌써 까져가지고.
It's true. He does need a few smacks upside the head. I understand what he's going through, but doesn't excuse the rudeness. Hold it together, Tack. No black eyes rolling back in your head and stuff.
이곳을 지키는 방법은 그것뿐입니다.
Everybody line up and get cut. Mm-hmm. Glasses man's gonna take a walk right now, isn't he?
수호대원들 뒤에 숨어 계시지만 마시고 상사님께서도 직접 솔선수범하셔야죠.
And cut yourself. Ah, God, it doesn't have to be so deep. There'll be chaos in here if he's gone, though. Her daughter just disappeared. Perfect timing for those lights, hey, bruh? Maybe you want to hide your arm right about now. Hide it! Wrap a bandage around it, quick! Is that it? He's going back for his first test subject? Because he was in a hyperbaric chamber. Very high chance he survived the fire and stuff.
냄새 먼저 죽겠네.
I was about to say, I can just tell it's funky in there.
개씹새끼들.
That's fresh blood. Y'all, you couldn't pay me my weight to do this.
서진아 무슨 일이야? 민중사 위치 보고해.
Underground in this place full of cement? As if a signal's gonna carry.
우석아 정신 차려. 우석아 대답해. 우석아. 야 정신 차려봐. 대답해. 대답해.
Bro, he's gone. I know it must be rough after seeing so many of your comrades fall, but yeah, thank you. We gotta go. I knew that was gonna happen too. Yeah, no, he's in shock. Ew, what is that? What is that? Something was on the ground. Just take the flamethrower and go. This guy is lost. We don't have time for this. Shut the door. Shut the door. Is that the changeling? Because that looks like his ability. But why would he come back here? Why don't we leave the scientist? He clearly wants to be one with this thing. He can commune with it all he wants. Let's get the hell out. He can stay here with it. Bye.
그럼 어쩌자는 겁니까 지금? 예? 혼자라도 있겠다는 겁니까?
Leave him. He wants to be here alone.
난 내일 보고 바깥으로 먼저 가 있을 테니까.
위험하실 텐데요.
아 괜찮다니까.
Leave him. Oh my God. Y'all are really ticking me off. This man is insane. He clearly knows the risk he's taking and wants to. Leave him. He's not the only hope for humanity, I promise. The beating heart of the monster nation. I wonder if that is the first human, the one that he almost killed. I'm so I don't know. I'm not getting any answers, guys. Just a lot of questions. Oh, he's okay. Don't touch me, you psychopath. Really? We're hugging now? Don't be jealous. It's a long story. Bro, what is your problem? Oh?
한 발자국만 더 뜨면
놔주고 가는 것도 살려놔도 하는 꼴 하지 마라.
You kind of created the trap that almost killed me anyway.
얘도 괴물 되면 꼭 죽여요.
Exactly. Could you? It's not so simple.
그 전에 내가 죽여줄까?
Is that real? Oh no, this is him thinking about what happens if he turns. I mean, I really wouldn't blame him. These people are really ungrateful for the most part. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
지키고 싶다며.
Now he's having flashbacks to his family that we still have no idea what happened.
이 스타디움의 괴물은 바로 나라고.
Is he though? I don't think he is. I mean, he's one. There's another guy, the glasses guy's in there too, and I'm sure there's more.
들어가도 되겠습니까?
Hello?
상사님, 문제가 생겼습니다.
Oh God.
상사님?
His eye's gonna be black. Yeah. He succumbed to the fear. No, 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 Lord, no. Why? All right. Well, I mean, I think it was pretty clear that we were going to lose him regardless, but still sucks. Okay, well, this episode was definitely one of the longer ones for sure, but we finally got the history on what would happen with Lee Kyung and her daughter, and that kind of time gap that we didn't see of when she had the baby to what we saw when she resurfaced at the stadium. And it's pretty much what I said in the last episode around, unfortunately, Lee Kyung is still struggling with what she sees her daughter as. It's very complicated, and I think that the show did a really good job of writing how complex this whole situation is. They touched on it last season a bit when they were referring to Hyun-soo, but it's really kind of hitting home with this situation where Lee Kyung gave birth to this baby, this only connection she had to this man that she loved, who for as much as she knows has passed away. And she didn't even have time to like take in the fact that she was pregnant before everything fell apart, for her finding her fiance, to this baby going to full term and then eventually clawing its way out of her body. Like, it's just been one thing after another for Lee Kyung, and it's been a lot for her to process. And then she has this baby and sees that it's not fully human. And it's funny because I feel like it's almost like an illusion or a metaphor for, like, in real life, when a woman becomes pregnant, of course, all you want is for your child to be healthy. And if something happens, like, if something does happen where your child is born with something, that changes them as far as being a normal, healthy baby, it's kind of a mother's worst nightmare, right? You just never expect it. And again, I'm not by any means saying that a child that is born with special circumstances is any less beautiful, amazing, or worthy of love. But I think it's fair to say that most mothers don't think that that's what's going to happen when they get pregnant. And so I think it's kind of an interesting metaphor of what that can be like for a mother, and the reconciliation that has to happen with the mother to realize that their child's going to have a different life than maybe they imagined, and what that's going to mean. And of course, this is hyperbolized in this show because this child's a monster, right? This child is like capable of doing some very terrible things. But I think what the real issue is, and I love that Hyun-soo was the one to bring it out to her when she almost died on the boat, because like I said, she went back to the burning boat. She didn't have to. She had the skills to swim to shore, but instead she went back to the boat and basically gave up. And he basically had to say to her, like, because she was saying, well, I kept wondering, is this my fault? Did I do this? Did I cause this? Like, why is my baby born this way? And no matter how much I try to tell myself otherwise, she is a monster. And he finally just asks her, like, and? So what? So what if she is a monster? Is that bad? Is that a crime? Is it written somewhere that you can't be a monster? And then he points out the fact that the baby monster actually tried to save her. Like, he actually used its body. I say he, I don't know what it is, but they used their body to put the flames out that would have killed her. And so he's saying, like, monsters are not a monolith. Like, we've already established this based on myself, Hyun-soo, but also just looking around. It's like, that all monsters want to hurt people. And he basically was just trying to say, like, maybe if you could see that being a monster isn't automatically a bad thing and equals evil, you wouldn't be in this issue of this constant conflict. But it's understandable why Lee Kyung is like this, because again, she's really still trying to process everything. All of her interactions with monsters were violent ones. And so I understand why she formed a prejudice almost immediately against monsters and just thinks that they're all bad. And then, of course, it got exacerbated when she finally first saw her daughter use her ability on somebody. And then it was like, oh, okay, And I think they did a good job of showing that, like, she ran away at first, which makes sense because, like I said, who goes from being a few weeks pregnant to full term and then giving birth and then seeing that? Like, that was a lot for her to take in. But then, like she said, her maternal instinct wouldn't let her just walk away completely. But then everything that she saw of the baby up until that point was her in human form, right? Her as a little girl, looking really cute. Hyun-soo and her having these good times, looking very much, you saw this, even the lighting was all sunny and light. Like, in her mind, she kept trying to convince herself, like, okay, like, I know what I saw when she was first born, but maybe she's not. Maybe that was just something that happened and now she's normal again, right? But then when she saw what happened with those jerks who tried to take her daughter out, and then she changed and she used her abilities for the first time, it's like the denial had to be shattered in her at that point that her daughter was going to be a normal human. That was never going to be the case, but she was holding out hope up until that point. And so when that happened, it's like her disappointment and frustration over that, she took that out on her daughter, which was not fair. And that's why she got so rough with her and, you know, grabbing the gloves and tying her hands together. And then, like I said, like, the cutting her was really just way too much. She did not need to do that. She knows her daughter can feel pain. So to do that, even though she knew she would heal, was crossing a line. It wasn't even the final line for her daughter either, but it definitely broke something between the two of them. And just in her mind, it was like she had to contain, like she said, I wasn't sure if I was protecting the world from you or you from the world. Like, it was that battle. But again, that battle was there because, as Hyun-soo said, it's because she still believes her daughter being a monster was the worst thing ever. And she was trying to keep that part of herself contained, but she can't. Like, Hyun-soo also is in this position, which we'll get to him in a second, but actually, no, I guess he's there. But anyway, that was Hyun-soo's issue in season 1 and going into season 2 here, is that she has to accept that her daughter is part monster and that the monsterization isn't necessarily an evil thing. Like, obviously, when she first used it, it was extreme, but it was in self-defense. And so I'm 100% team daughter on that one. But I understand how the mother was scared that, okay, if this is what she can do, who knows what she'll do it, who she'll do it to, how many times she'll use it, etc., etc. But really, it was more of, she should have taken the approach of, okay, you have this ability. It's not necessarily one that's going to be helpful from what we can see, but we don't know that maybe her daughter can do more. Like, maybe her daughter can take monsterization away from people. We don't know. Right? She used it the first time to defend herself. Maybe there's more to her power than we know. But my point is, if her mom had come to her with more of a, okay, I understand you used it, but you have to understand why it's dangerous for humans and why people will be scared of you if you use it without thinking about what it's going to do to people, right? Like, the point is, she had an opportunity to teach her and try to get her to understand what she was doing, but instead she went into fear mode and used her fear and anger and frustration, and that's how she handled her daughter going forward. So, of course, her daughter responded by getting more and more distant from her and also looking and thinking, okay, all the humans I've interacted with have been horrible to me, right? Her mom abandoned her, which I'm sure she never forgot. Hyun-soo, half monster, took care of her. All of the monsters she came up against, because she understands them for some reason, she thinks of them as like friends, right? She thinks that she can communicate. Again, I think it's just because she's actually listening, unlike most humans who just assume they're all evil. But she thinks that the monsters are the ones that are simple, they're kind. She gets where they're coming from, but the humans, automatic fear, trying to hurt her, lashing out at her. It's very understandable why she has this bias. And again, I think that Lee Kyung forgot that her daughter mentally is only a year old, right? She doesn't look it, which is obviously the part that makes it hard to reconcile, but she's a child in every sense of the word, a baby, really. A year of life is nothing on this planet, right? That's nothing. You know nothing within a year. She's adapted very well considering, but yeah, I think if Lee Kyung had remembered that she mentally and emotionally is still an infant, she would have realized that a lot of her actions and the way she does things is immature, because she is immature, and more than just a teenage immature, like a baby immature. So I think she would have had a little bit more patience with her potentially if that had been the case. But as I said, I can really see all sides of this issue. And like she said, I thought it was very interesting when she said to Hyun-soo, I wanted her to be like you. But again, she's not looking at the fact that Hyun-soo is not mentally a year old. He lived a whole life up until the point he became a monster. He has enough mental capacity to understand why people are acting the way that they are and to be able to put perspective on how people treated him. Not to mention the fact that they were in that apartment building for God knows how long while he had to process his monsterization and what it meant and all those things. So he has more perspective than Lee Kyung's daughter ever could have. And so that's the part again where Kyung's not realizing that her daughter potentially could have become like with like Hyun-soo, but it would have taken time and patience and unfortunately a few casualties. And that's just the way it would have been. So anyway, very sad. I did get where Kyung was coming from, but she was absolutely wrong. And as I said, it really comes down to her having to either decide once and for all that she's not going to consider her daughter's monster side as a curse, or just decide to walk away entirely. On to Hyun-soo. We discovered in this episode that he actually was not under the facility very long at all. Like, I thought maybe he was under there the whole time, but nope, it looks like whatever happened, he came out of it pretty quickly. And yeah, literally right away, actually, because he was there when Hyun-soo, or so when Lee-kyung gave birth. So he's been out and about, but he's just been, looks like, meandering for the most part, because what does he have to do, right? The purpose that he came to this facility for no longer existed, and the changeling is gone, thank God. But yeah, I think he found a purpose, at least for a while, in taking care of Lee-kyung's daughter. But he's also been just kind of, I guess, hanging around and protecting the humans that he can from the shadows, because that's something he's been doing since he turned. And we discover now that all those times that Eun-yu thought her brother was saving her, he was actually Hyun-soo. He's been the one who's been protecting her, and he's also been kind of loosely protecting Lee-kyung and the girl. And then we see that he's the one who actually saved Eun-yu from being tossed into God knows where that she got pushed into. And Eun-yu, of course, was happy to see him, but he was basically like, nah, fam, like, we're not friends anymore. Like, go back to your people. And she's like, I don't buy that you're this indifferent, because why do you keep saving me? And he basically is like, because I've been around, but I don't think that's true. We know from season 1 that Hyun-soo had a bit of a crush on Eun-yu, but Eun-yu really wasn't giving him the time of day last season, to be fair. I mean, I shouldn't say that. They had a really interesting relationship. Like, she clearly cared about Hyun-soo to a degree, but like I said, she's never really been the warm and fuzzy type. So it was very tit for tat for them for a while. But anyways, she basically is like, let's talk about this. Like, why did you leave? Why haven't you come back to find us? Like, why are you isolating yourself? And he basically is like, don't worry about it. Like, I've had my own business going on. And so she tries to follow him, and he has much better control over his wing now, which is why I was saying earlier about how Hyun-soo struggled with the accepting the monster side of himself, like Lee-kyung is having the issue with that with her daughter. That was his problem all the way up until episode, was it 3 that we last saw him? But it looks like now he's finally accepted that the monster isn't the bad guy. Like, and I get it, because again, after seeing what the changeling did, and the changeling being the first person he'd met that was like him, he really thought the monster was the worst part of him. But I think he's understood now that the monsterization is what you make it. And for him, he's using it to help people. So even though it's a part of him, it's not necessarily a bad part. And so it looks like he's accepted that, and that's why now he's got way more control over the wing. He can fly with it now, which is something we didn't see him do last season. So that's a good thing for him, obviously. But yes, we see that when Eun-yu tried to follow him, he drew a line, quite literally, in the ground for her to leave him alone. Then we see that the old man with the rifle shows up and basically tells Hyun-soo to leave him, like, to basically back off. But he doesn't attack Hyun-soo, which is interesting. I mean, he knows with the shotgun wouldn't be enough anyways, but it's interesting that, like, he clearly knows what Hyun-soo is, and he's just like, just stay away from us. Like, that's my main thing, is I'll leave you alone if you leave us alone. But anyways, he takes her back to the camp, and we see, and then of course, we'll go back to the camp and the soldier in a minute. But following Hyun-soo, he asks the girl why she tried to kill Eun-yu, and she basically is like, I don't like her. That's all there is to it. I don't like any humans right now. And the two of them end up having a conversation, and he's basically like, you don't have to, like, why are you being like this all of a sudden? And she says, look, I'm done. Like, all the humans I've met have hurt me. They're evil. I don't like them. She's like, all of them always tried to hurt me and they were afraid of me. So, like, her mom was the last straw, obviously. So she's like, yeah, now I'm done. So Hyun-soo doesn't really say much at this point. He just tries to explain to her, like, humans are doing this because they're scared, they're afraid, like, because there are some monsters that have hurt them or hurt the people they love, and that's why they're responding. But he's talking to a girl with the mental capacity of a 1-year-old. So she's not about it right now. She's in her feelings. She's hurt. She's angry. Very valid feelings. And again, she doesn't understand why humans don't understand the monsters. Then she tells him that she set their home on fire. So Hyun-soo realizes when she says that, and the fact that she no longer needs them, that she did something drastic. So he heads back to the houseboat, and that's when he saves Ik-kyung and basically realizes she needs to get medical attention because she has been burned. But that's the last we see of the daughter. We now know the time she's on. She's on revenge time. She wants to hurt any human that she comes in contact with. And as I said, even though she's not invincible, her ability, because the way she looks, people are not going to know what she is, and they're going to most likely get in her proximity before they can realize what she is. And as I said, if she and the Changeling meet up, and especially with her in this mindset, it's going to be disaster. It's gonna be disaster. So we'll see. We only have one episode left, so I don't know if we're gonna come full circle like that. But that's where she's at. And then back to Eun-yu, going back to the camp. She comes back to the camp with the old man and realizes that the soldier's been poisoned by the girl. They managed to get him the antidote, and then at that point, once he recovers, he basically says that the old man and the girl should come back to the stadium with them. And the old man's like, no way, like, y'all are not doing much better than we are. Like, I do think he's actually safer on the outside as it stands right now, because he knows how to hide and keep himself as a low profile. And, you know, it makes sense for him to stay there. But anyhow, while they're having that conversation, this is when Hyun-soo shows up with Ik-kyung on his back. And he's saying, I know I'm not supposed to come here, but she needs help and she's human, basically. And so now all of the three of them are going to head back to the stadium, which is probably not a good idea since the stadium is in ruins. Right now, the stadium, they've detected that there is a monster in the stadium, but we as an audience already know that there are at least two people that are turning at the moment. The captain, Captain Tak, and then there's also the guy with the glasses. So they're both in their golden hour right now, but they have been hiding it. But there's something far bigger. Like it's neither of them. Obviously, there is another monster somewhere. And like I said, the woman who's running things, she is definitely keeping a secret. I don't know what it is. I don't know who. I don't know. But there's something in that room she's been keeping hidden for a while, like to the point where she slapped her own daughter for trying to pry into that room. As I said, I do wonder if her husband is gone or if she's been trying to keep him, you know, because she, like many people, is not ready to accept that he's a monster. And maybe that's why she hasn't gotten Eun-yu kicked out or tried to take her out, is because she knows that Eun-yu didn't actually kill her husband. I don't know. But anyway, she's hiding something because she did not look as panicked as she should have at the idea of a monster being in there and the fact that those noises were happening from behind the walls. So we saw that she opened something up and she looked down what looked like a sewer drain, if anything, and she looked panicked, but we didn't see anything as an audience. So I guess we have to wait to the next episode to see whatever she was looking at. My gut is telling me her husband is down there, and maybe he was somewhat docile up until now, but things have changed potentially. So I don't know. We'll have to see, but she's definitely hiding something. And she asked her daughter to help her out after everything that happened. And we don't know what she asked her to help her out with. So we'll have to see what goes on with that. But with all this happening, the soldiers inside there basically rounded everybody up, put them all in one room and said, listen, we know that if there's a monster in the stadium, then it's probably got to be one of us, right? That's what they're thinking, because they don't know what could be behind the walls at this point. So they're like, okay, if that's the case, people are either hiding their symptoms or they know someone and they're helping them. So we see all the soldiers cut themselves except for Captain Tak, of course. And he's like, we're all basically, this is what we're doing. Everyone's got to do this right now. We're going to see who's lying. And of course, the people panic because they're like, it sounds like they're saying if any of us show symptoms, they're taking us out. What does that mean? So that's the state of the stadium right now. Obviously, things are not good. And we saw towards the end there that Captain Tak looks like he's losing his battle to the monster. So we'll have to see what happens. But like I said, well, the scientist said it actually. If Captain Tak goes, it's going to be chaos in there, especially because the other guy who's been a leader is in the field. Which brings us to the field people. And they're out there, they're looking to see if they can find their lost soldier that's been AWOL for a few days now. And they're also going because the doctor is saying that he needs to find something to help with his research. So they go out there and he's just being annoying. Like, the doctor annoys me so much. Like, I really cannot wait till he's gone, but I know we're probably not going to lose him this season, annoyingly. But anyhow, they realize, the doctor tells them as they're going to the stadium, because again, those weird Autobot monsters start chasing them. And he's saying the monsters are evolving, like something's changing. Because he said before they used to just wander and do their own thing. They didn't recognize each other. They didn't care. But now they're working together. They're attacking a single target. And he's like, if you notice, it's like they were waiting for us, like they're hunting us. They're not just coming at us willy-nilly like they used to. So he's like, they're changing, and that's why I'm worried, and that's why I want to learn more. The doctor's trying to get back to his lab. He said there's something that he left that is really important. And of course, they're searching to see if they can find their soldier while they're there. And we see there that the doctor figures out that the area where the monster humans were, they were supposed to be sealed off and locked in. So he's surprised when he comes down there and realizes that there's chaos. So I think he finally figured out that they've been let out somehow, but he doesn't know how that happened. And he really doesn't talk about it because he's too busy trying to figure out what's going on. And then we see that there's a giant weird hive thing that's in one of the main control rooms. And the doctor's saying that he thinks that whatever was in there evolved to be whatever this is, and that this is to me, it looked like a chrysalis, right? Whatever's in there is going to be evolved into something that's even crazier than what we've already seen. And so the doctor, of course, is fascinated and wants to like start studying it. But the soldiers are like, we ain't got time for that. You came to get your thing. We got to get out of here. Every second we're here, we're risking our lives. So the doctor's like, look, I'm not leaving without something. So y'all go take care of your fellow soldiers and I'll get what I need. So they kind of split up. And then we see with the other soldiers that they come across something that moves a lot like Changeling did as far as the bubbling blood blob. So I don't know if the Changeling went back, which would be interesting if he did go back to that facility and just stayed there. Just based on what we saw of his characterization, he talks a big game, but he doesn't like to be alone. And so maybe he just stayed there because the monsters he released didn't want to leave. But again, I still think there's something going on with Kyung's fiance, the first one, the first, what did he call him? Monster human. I don't think we focused so much on him in the first couple of episodes for him to just be dismissed. Like maybe he's the one in the chrysalis. Like that's my prediction at the moment, that maybe he's the one who's in that weird thing, or maybe he evolved in some way and that's why the Changeling stuck around. But I think it might be the Changeling. We haven't seen anybody else with that blood bubbling power so far, so I think it might be him. But anyhow, that's basically where we are. A lot of stuff went down in this episode. A lot of things are kind of coming together after having a lot of kind of expositionary episodes, in my opinion. Yeah, we'll have to see how they're going to wrap this all up in the final episode. I do think we're going to have Hyun-soo somehow battling someone now that he's in better control of his monsterization. But who is that and how's it going to go down? Because I just don't see him being able to take out Kyung's daughter any more than I can see Kyung doing it. So yeah, we'll have to see. It's been a very interesting ride thus far, and this is a lot in this episode, but it was cool to watch, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please leave some likes and comments on this video, and I will see you in the next one.